Welcome back to Be Out in the Cottage. My name is Colette O'Neill and I've lived here for just over 20 years. And I'll put a few pictures in of what the cottage looked like at the very beginning for those of you who are new to the channel, and you're very welcome. And I've done all the work here on the land myself. It's been my great pleasure to do so. So today, it's some little snippets over Sunday and Monday, and some of the work that I've done in the garden, including some topiary, some pruning, and some moving about of plants, and tidying up, and getting pots ready for the winter, and making some little flower displays as well. So you're very welcome, and I hope you enjoy the video. One of the things I do with orange peel is I leave them on top of the stove. I've just lit the stove, as you can see. And the kettle is boiling for, guess what? A cup of tea. Yes. Drying those out, the beautiful oil in the orange peel sort of permeates the cottage and gives out such a beautiful smell. And the cost is, I love this, £0. So this is the view, more or less, from my kitchen window. Normally I can see Kilronan Mountain on a clear day, but as you can see, it's very misty. So I've just been sat here reading some of your comments. I'm looking at my radiator that needs a bit of paint. Okay, at some point during those long, dark evenings of winter, I'll be getting a few paintbrushes out. So the girl is sat here on my lap. Now, I'm going to be taking her out with me again, shopping. She's a bit tired. We've been for a walk. I'm going to take her out with me shopping because what I try to do in order to up my steps is take Patsy out with me shopping and then, stop off at various little places and just take her for a quick dander. Nothing, spectacular, just a quick dander. But getting, maybe half a dozen or so danders a day ups my steps and keeps her claws a little bit shorter than they should be. Anyway, I need to take her to the vets. Did you hear that, Pats? I need to take you to the vets. Oh, she says, no, not the vets. Just to get those little claws clipped. She gets really fed up at the vets. It's hard to believe on this beautiful morning that there's a storm brewing. It's out there in the Atlantic, ready to smash into Ireland here on the west coast. I'm not too far from the west coast. I think it's about 25 or 30 kilometres, something like that. Probably a bit less as the crow flies. But yeah, it's beautiful living on the west coast, as you can see. Beautiful climate. Autumn starts early. It starts around about the beginning of August. In fact, in the old Celtic calendar, it is literally the beginning of August, which is called Lunasa. And it's very much, the west of Ireland is very much governed by the cycles, the old Celtic cycles. And I think they were very wise people, because I think that they, living under the stars, under the skies, and with the earth, they're very earth-based, but very spiritual people. And their studies of everything around them, with, nature in particular, led them to great wisdom. So in my bio, I think it's on Facebook, I say that I follow nature, not ideology. Ideology is created by humankind, whereas nature is there. And nature to me is just incredibly powerful. And it's visual evidence of what I call the divine And the divine is known to people all across the world in many different forms and understandings. But for me, it's just very simple. We have earth, nature, and the divine. And I pay homage. Yeah. Simple way to live, but beautiful, and allows me to connect with everything around me, which is very important for me, that connection. One of my favourite little chores, if one can call it a chore, is creating very simple arrangements. I won't say flower arrangements because they're not always flowers. Sometimes they're just leaves and greenery, and sometimes seed heads, and sometimes even with a tiny little spider on it. And you see, just there, on that little seed head. Don't know if it comes up in the camera. Anyway, so this is one that I've made today. And see the little rhododendron flower? That shouldn't be flowering, but that one little flower came out. So I thought, I'll bring it indoors and appreciate it for the days and sometimes weeks to come. Lots of little cobwebs coming as well. It's that time of year. And this is some very beautiful, but again, simple. It's a little herb. It's called feverfew. And I always find an interesting little vase as well. So again, I've been doing a little bit of gardening and a little bit of arranging. See, this bay tree that I grew from a little cutting in this pot was parked right over there. Originally, it was right over there in the corner of the veranda. So, it's there now. I've been trimming back the cotoneaster, putting it into a nice shape, because of course I've got a walkway here, and revealed this lovely little piece of ajuca. Sunday afternoon, been working in the garden. I keep meaning to get off now and go down to the garden centre because I've got some big pots to fill up with. I'm hoping to get some nice winter flowering plants. So this is one of them. Now I'm not going to fill the whole lot with compost. I'll probably fill just half of it, and I'll put some plastic sacks or something or whatever I have in the barn there ready to go to the recycling. I'll just pack those into the bottom and then put some cardboard on top and then some compost, just a few inches of it, and then some winter flowering flowers. That's one. And the other one I've got to do is this one. These were originally round the front of the cottage with rhododendrons in them, which are now planted over in the lunacy garden. So this afternoon, it being Sunday afternoon, I decided to keep on with the tasks, and I was in a mind to prune and trim off one of my bay trees. Now, I grow all these bay trees from cuttings. The mother bay tree is over in the garden, a little bit worse for wear because she was damaged a wee bit, in the stormy Owen, like a lot of stuff here on the land. But I've taught myself the very rudimentary basic skills of topiary or topiary, as I love to call it. And I find it very relaxing doing this. The bay tree, if you want to keep a nice kind of a rounded shape in it, you know, the kind of classic shapes are rounded like a lollipop shape or a conical shape. I like the rounded shape because they're very forgiving, especially if you make mistakes, you know. So, yeah, got this trimmed off. Took me about 2 minutes, probably less. Now, a bit of clearing up to do, but what I'm going to do with all the cuttings is I'm going to set them on top of the stove, at the back of the stove where they can't catch light, obviously, and just slowly allow the heat of the stove to emit those beautiful, sweet smelling, sweet bay oils. Well, there we go, pleased with that. Amazing weather on this Sunday afternoon. I finished my little bit of gardening. I will make my way down to the garden centre, I hope. What time is it now? 4:14. Anyway, yeah, look at the sky, it's blue. It's blue. Now, the day has been filled with very threatening clouds, grey sky, blue sky, white clouds, rain, wind. But the storm is definitely on its way. So yeah, I'm so reluctant to get up from my seat here, you know. It's just so lovely to sit and watch and look at Pat's. She's decided to go into the shade there, look, in her little bed underneath the bench. Normally she sits up on the top on that little fur pad. So just sharing with you. You may as well look and listen as well. Just sharing with you my lunch today, or my dinner. It's actually my dinner. This is Sunday. This is my Sunday dinner. And it's another one of those wonderful cauldron of plenty stir fries. And it's sitting on a bed of lettuce and beetroot leaves and raw grated beetroot. And I've got some pita bread here, toasted. Now, this is so tasty. So the end of a lovely day. Did I get to the garden centre? No. I kept working and took Patsy for a really long walk, just locally. So she was too tired to even get up from the sofa to go out to the car. So I just thought, oh, I'll leave it. Another day. I love going to the garden centre, so I'll kind of push that forward as a little treat for another day. So blessings to you all. Have a great week. I'll see you soon. Bye. P.S. Monday morning, no storm. The storm obviously passed in a sort of a gentle way yesterday with a few breezes here and there. Beautiful Monday morning. Have a lovely week, everybody.